My name is Aaron. I am a walk tech here at Beaver Coach Sales. I do want to congratulate you on your brand new purchase of your 2025 Entegra Cornerstone. Today we're just going to do a nice brief walkthrough with you through your coach. We're going to start right back here in the back of the coach. Not a whole lot to really talk about back here, but there's a few little nuances that I'd like to point out to you. For instance, on the back side of your washer and dryer cabinet, there is an access panel that just gives you access to your washer and dryer water and electrical hookups. While we're talking about it, I do like to point out to you your stackable washer and dryer by Splendide. Very, very great manufacturer. I generally don't talk too in depth about washers and dryers because we've all used them before. In addition to your washer and dryer, you do have a couple more storage options within your closet area, fully adjustable shelving in here, as well as a triple bank of drawers and your large wardrobe back here. As we come into the bathroom, there again, not a whole lot to really talk about, but a couple little things I'd like to point out. In your shower, you do have what's called the shower miser. All right, your shower miser is only going to be used when you're dry camping or boondocking. You're never going to utilize this when you're attached to city water. But essentially how it works is you do have this little knob here at the top, and it has two symbols on it. On the left-hand side, you have an active shower, looks like a handheld shower symbol. And on the right-hand side, you have this recirculation symbol. It's kind of like a recycling symbol. Now, if you wanted to preserve your freshwater tank, you would turn that to this recycling symbol, and that's going to take all the water from within your system and dump it back in the freshwater tank until hot water gets to this location. Now, once hot water is here and it's at the ready, this little blue guy right here is going to turn kind of an opaque white. It doesn't have a light or anything like that. It's just going to turn this kind of whitish color, and that will let you know that you are then able to turn on your hot water and you're not going to waste any fresh water or prematurely fill your gray tank. All right, just make sure you turn that back to the active shower symbol, or else no water will flow out. In addition to that, you do have pretty basic controls here in the shower. This little front knob controls the temperature of your water, and then this knob will turn it off or on. And then you also have the option to use the handheld here as well. Now, when you're outside of the shower and you are going to be traveling, do make sure you turn this lock so that this door doesn't come loose. As we continue in the bathroom, if you take a look over here, you do have your residential style toilet. It does have controls directly behind it. The left button is going to be for raising the water level, and the right button is for flush. Now, you are going to see the little green light on there. That is a tank level indicator. Right now it's green, it just says your toilet is safe to flush, but if that's ever red, it just means your black tank is full and it will not allow you to flush. All right. As we jump on over here, you do have your bathroom vanity area. This is a dual vanity, solid surface countertops. Now, before we leave this room, I do like to point out that your closet has its own light switch. All right, it's a singular push to turn off or on. And then as far as controls, as we go through this coach, you're going to see these little multiplexes, or KIBs as we call them. Now, these are pretty much zone specific, meaning that they control the lights and the shades for this zone. Now, there are some things on here, as I show you, that are going to be on every single one of these. Every single one has a fan control option, but also has your tank information. So it's going to have your fresh, your gray, and your black tank, as well as a water pump switch. That will be on every single KIB in this coach. All right. And then, as you also notice, you do have two 120 receptacles in here as well. All right, welcome to your bedroom. So same thing, you do have a KIB control here. This KIB control is exactly the same as the KIB that's underneath your overhead cabinets above where you'll be laying. There's also a little circular white switch right there controls your ceiling fan for both low and high settings. Same thing, these KIBs are going to control lighting and shades for this particular zone. You'll also have the visual on your tanks and water pumps, as well as fan controls as well. You do have your bedroom TV. Now, behind it, there is a little switch here on the bottom to open it up, and that's going to expose your first alert safe. The keys for the safe are taped directly to the top. Super easy to program this safe. As you open the door, On the inside, there's going to be a little button that you push. It's going to put it in learn mode. Then all you have to do is enter 3 to 6 digits followed by either the star or the pound symbol to store your new code. All right. In addition to that, there is a spare 120 receptacle and some audio video related plugs and accessories. In addition to those audio video components, you do have an audio video shelf in your right wardrobe cabinet. That's where your Blu-ray player / DVD player is located, and then all of your coaxial connections for rooftop, satellite, and those sort of things. Now, as we look underneath the bed here, there's a little bit of storage underneath here. You're also going to see your slide controls for your bedroom slide. And if you look in the far back left, you are going to see the pump for your Sleep Number bed. Alright, we're going to leave the bedroom and enter into the hallway area. Now, right here on the left-hand side, you do have your pantry. These will just pull out. Just make sure you push in tight to lock it in place. Next to that, you do have your residential style refrigerator / freezer. There again, we generally don't talk too in depth about fridges and freezers. We've all had them before. All of your operations are right here on the door, so you can turbo freeze your freezer. You can turn your ice maker off or on, lighting, that sort of thing. But pretty easy operation there. As we jump into your mid-bath or stool room, as we like to refer to it, you do have another KIB. Same thing, zone specific, so lighting and shades for this room as well as water pumps and that sort of thing. You do have a 120 receptacle in here. Now above your vanity, you do have a little bit of storage on this side, but it's also where your M1 control panel is located. So that's little battery disconnect circuits for various items for inside the house. Same controls for the toilet in this room. So there again, the button on the left will bring the water level up. The button on the right will dump the contents. And then you still have a tank level indicator here as well. Now we're going to continue with the rest of the house, but then we'll jump into your main control panel here momentarily. So as we continue through the house, you will see dual 120 receptacles at your dinette area, a plethora of overhead cabinets. As we get over to your theater seating, these are all electronic controlled, so you have elevated headrest. And then you also have your reclining features, as well as a little fold-down armrest here for cup holders. On this side, you have your regular couch. This also is a pull-out for a bed, just like every other pull-out bed you've ever utilized. Now, behind this couch, you will see your TV. That TV is on a telelift or a televator that is controlled by the switch next to your theater seating. So if you notice right here, it's a switch. You have to hold this switch to make it go up or down. It's not a singular push. And common misconception is that when you put the TV down, it's going to turn itself off, and that is 100% false. You do have to remember to turn the TV off on your own. Just so you have a visual. If I let go, it's going to stop. Now, while we're talking about this front TV, you are going to notice the sound bar directly above. It does have all their own remotes for it. And a little bit of overhead cabinet space here. Now this overhead cabinet's considered your audio video cabinet as well for the front of the house. That's going to control this TV, your very front TV, and your exterior TV as far as components. So if you want to watch a Blu-ray or a DVD player outside, just put it on the right input outside and that will work from the Blu-ray player that's right in this cabinet here. So in this cabinet, you're also going to see your HDMI matrix control. So letting you control what TVs are on what input, as well as some spare 120 receptacles in there as well. All right, as we make our way up to the front of the cabin here, directly above your captain's seat, this cabinet's going to be where all your residential breakers are located. Now all these breakers are going to be properly labeled here as well. And you're going to see that there's 2 sets of them for the house. Come into this cabinet here. You do just have your Trimark module. So not a whole lot for you to do with that. That just works in conjunction with your door handle at the entry door. And then you have a couple Trimark programming switches. One for reprogramming a key fob if you have to make a replacement, and one for clearing the authority code on the Trimark door handle. There are also some spare 120 receptacles in there. You have your front TV. And then on this side, just some spare 120 receptacles and the disconnect to the front TV for the ignition. And then over the passenger seat, you have your WineGuard controller. So this is what you're going to use to find over-the-air signal for all of your TVs. It does have an on-off button and a search button. If you hit that search button prior to programming your TVs, this will alleviate some of the time it takes for your TVs to find all the channels. Don't expect it to alleviate much time, just a little bit. All right, and these little bottom arrows don't apply so much to this coach. Your WineGuard doesn't rotate. Next to that, you have your slide controls. Now this is for all 4 slides in the coach. They are all properly labeled from kitchen slide, super slide, vanity slide, and bed slide. You also have controls for your slides on your main Vega Touch control panel. All right, and then lastly in this cabinet, you have what we call AC overrides. Now, ever since they switched to Vega Touch, they've consistently put in these AC overrides. So essentially, if you can't get your ACs to turn on from your main Vega Touch control panel, there's some sort of bug in the system, you could come here and do an override, and that will essentially erase that bug so that you can go back to the main control panel. I can honestly tell you, I have never known anybody that's had to utilize this before. Everything else up here in the cockpit area, we will jump to once we do your main Vega Touch control. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about in-house is your kitchen area here. On the left-hand side here, you do have your pull-out extension counter. It does have a triple bank of drawers in here as well. You do have your deep basin residential sink. These little pop-off covers here as well. Behind that, you do have your soap dispenser, a water filter for drinking water, and as well as the spray nozzle for it as well. Directly next to that, you do have your Furion induction cooktop. Above that is your Furion residential microwave. These 2 things there, again, we don't talk too much about because we've all used them before. Nice cabinet in here. One thing I do like to point out is your dedicated receptacle for your microwave is in here as well. Last important thing I like to point out in here is you do have your sweep up or your kick for sweeping the house, as well as a little hidden pantry here as well. All right, guys, well, let's talk about your Vega Touch, your home control panel. So we are going to start right here on the home page. Your home page is kind of a brief overview of all your major systems. As you can see on the upper left-hand side here, you have your light masters. So they're divided by interior and exterior lights. You have a couple quick push lights, so entry, ceiling, living room, ceiling, porch, those sort of thing. You can also change what you want here via the light scenes. So if you hit that, it's going to have you do a scene setup, so your favorite lights, you can make quick connects. If you didn't want it to be entry, ceiling, or ceiling, so on and so forth. All right, as we come to the middle here, this is all kind of climate-related stuff at the top, so it gives you your 3 zones of climate. It is also telling you on this page what you're using for your climate as well. So right now we are using Aqua Hot for furnace. A little bit of chilly out here today, so that's why you're seeing these little flame symbols here. All right. Next to that is your power source. All right, so you are showing right here if you were connected to shore power, it would say shore power. If you were just running off the inverter, it would say inverter. If you're running off the generator, it would say genset. Below that's giving you your voltages. So it is telling us right now that your house is at 12.7, your chassis is at 12.7, so both great voltages there as well. On the far right-hand side, you got at the very top information pertaining to your tanks. It's kind of a redundancy that you're going to see within these coaches. You've got tank information and all your KIBs, as well as your main Vega Touch control. Below your tank info, you have a water pump switch. You also have the on-off for your satellite dome to open up. And then you have your locks, so your entry lock and your cargo doors. The next page we're going to go to is your electrical page. All right, so there again, tells you the power source. Right now we're on the inverter. If you were plugged into shore power or we're running off the generator, you get individual line voltages, the amperage that you're using, and then what hertz. You're always going to be in 60 hertz. Below that, your transfer switch. When this is plugged into shore power, you'd get a definitive breakdown as to the flow of current. So it would come into your transfer switch, then go to breaker boxes, the inverter chargers, so on and so forth. Below the transfer switch indicator, you have your manual start and stop for the generator. There's also a manual generator start-stop switch up in the cockpit area as well. Next to that, or below that, is your AGS. That is your automatic generator start system. All right, it is showing it is disabled right now. If I came into electrical settings, it's your auto gen settings here at the top. You have your quiet time, which is disabled. If you enabled that, it's going to have you program the times so that your generator wouldn't turn on in the inappropriate times. You can also enable your AGS on this page as well, and then it'll let you know what triggers you have activated. So you have 3 primary triggers for your AGS. They are low voltage, HVAC demand, and insufficient shore power. And you could turn any one of those off or have all of them on if that's what you want. Under that is your gen hours. So you only have 3.3 hours as of right now on this generator. Do keep in mind that you do need to exercise your generator somewhere between 2 to 4 hours a month per your warranty. So even if you're plugged into shore power all the time, make sure you are exercising your generator. And then on the right-hand side right here is all your factory presets pertaining to that generator. So when it's going to automatically turn on, when the voltage trigger is, those sort of things. All right, back to the electrical page. In the very middle here, you have information pertaining to your EMS, which is your electrical management system. Essentially, what that's there to do is to stop you from popping breakers within your breaker box. So your management system is going to allow you to only use so many things. So if you have all of your air conditioners on and you're running the induction cooktop, and then you go to run a load in the dryer, at that point in time, you're exceeding the amount of available wattage for your coach, and it's going to turn something off to allow you to run another component, and that will be operated through your electrical management system. All right. Now, as we come down to the bottom here, you have information pertaining to your inverter, status lines 1 and 2. So I just is going to tell you there again your voltages, how much is being used, those sort of things. You also have a solar controller page, which will give you information pertaining to both battery 1 and battery 2. Next page we're going to go to is your lighting page. Probably one of the simpler pages that we have. There again, on the very top, you've got master switches for interior and exterior lighting. And then underneath those, you have every interior and exterior light. You can put them on and off however you see fit. And then every single one of these that has an up and down arrow is a dimmable light. So essentially you hold that, and then we can watch ceilings dim. It's going to go down, it'll go back to its highest setting, and it'll stop for a moment, so you can stop it there as well. Next page here is your climate page. Now it is separated into 3 zones, front, middle, and rear. You do have your bay aqua hot control, so it gives you your accurate temperature for your bay, as well as your preset temperature for that zone. In the middle, you have your options for your aqua hot, so whether or not you want it to be aqua hot burner, which is your diesel burner, or if you want to utilize the electric elements. And you do have the option to scroll between low setting, hot setting, or back to the off position. Feel free to use these in conjunction with each other. The aqua hot diesel burner is your most efficient form of heating. That's going to heat both your hot water as well as air. And you have the aqua hot electric element to kind of boost that as well. Next to that is your engine preheat, and below that is your aqua hot diagnostics page. There is another one of these panels outside at the aqua hot. It's just in black and white. This one's in color. And you do have information pertaining to your statuses, your electric and burner statuses, coolant levels. Also, if you had any faults faults would pop up right here. You have the reset button here as well. So like with most faults, if you're able to reset and clear that fault and it doesn't instantaneously pop back up, then you're pretty much good to go. You also have diag information here. You generally are going to use diagnostics on your AquaHot with an authorized tech, either on the phone or in person. And the same with the test feature. You're only going to do this if a technician has told you to do so. Back to the climate page. On the far lower right hand side, you do have your floor temperature. All right, this is still a hydronic heating, which just means that it doesn't happen instantaneously. So expect to wait a little bit of time before you feel true heat coming from your floor. I've had this on for about 10 minutes or so. It's only gone up about 5 degrees, so just keep that in mind. All right. It does show you the accurate floor temperature as well as your preset on the right hand side. All right, next page we're going to is your fan control page. It is split into 3 zones, so your kitchen fan, your mid-bath fan, and your rear bath fan. You can individually control the lid if you wanted that open without the fan on, or you can just hit the power button. When you hit that power button, it will automatically open the lid, then you can choose what speed to operate it at. And then every single one of these fans, you can control whether or not you want it to be intake or exhausting. Next page we come to is your slide control page. It's always going to give you this little warning. Generally that warning is saying, hey, make sure that your front captain and co-captain seats are as far forward as they can go so that the balances of the slide don't hit the seat when you're retracting. Go ahead and hit the continue button and then come to slides, and then you're going to see your kitchen slide, your bed slide, your super slide, and your vanity slide extension and retraction options are there. All right, on this page, you also have your patio awning controls. So that's going to control your door awning, your front awning, and your rear awning. And then on this page, you also have your window controls. So these window awnings, you have one on your TV window, your kitchen window, your sofa window, your dinette window, and your bedroom vanity window. Now, unlike your main awnings, these bedroom or small window awnings, they are a little less susceptible to the wind. So be cognizant of that. Your main awnings, super susceptible to the wind. So if it's windy or you're going to bed or you're leaving the coach, make sure you bring those in. Like I said, your window awnings a little less susceptible. All right, very next page we come to is your shade control page. Now, this is generally just going to control the shades for the front of house. Everything from your mid-bath, your bedroom, your rear bath, all those are controlled by your KIV controls. So on the shades page, on your Vega Touch, just remember it's everything in the front of house. At the very bottom, you have your control for whether or not you're trying to operate day shades or night shades. But left and right, you have your up and down features for those shades. Now, last page here is your settings page. Now it starts with network diagnostics. If you were to click that, you're going to see all of the outputs. You have all of your devices and inputs, any faults that may have arisen. If you do have faults here, a clear faults button will pop up. Same like I said before, if you clear faults and it doesn't instantaneously pop back up, you're good to go. And then you have a solar diagnostics page, which you can go into detail, and it's going to give you all of your accurate information as to how your solar voltaics have been charging or not charging. Now back to your output page, I just like to point out that you can see a lot of green lights on here. Green essentially is being a good thing. Occasionally, if you have anything that's lit up in red, you're going to want to go to the faults page and follow what that issue is. And it'll generally give you instructions on how to clear those faults. Back to the settings page, the next one down is a redundancy in your AquaHot diagnostics page. Then you have your temperature, if you chose to pick Celsius or Fahrenheit, your floor plan, and then top right you have your screen brightness that's pertaining to this screen, how bright you want it to be. You can go to this favorites page. Now on this favorites page you can see you have the blue line. You can come in here and create your own sequence of lighting or fan controls, and where those are going to pop up is right here on your home page on the lower section. So if you want to add fan controls or any particular lights that you like on the bottom, you could do that from your favorites control. Under that is your color themes. So pick your favorite theme for your Vega Touch display. Next to that is your mobile app. So this uses the Vega Touch Eclipse for your mobile app. You'll be able to download this right from your CAPTCHA, have it on your phone or your tablet, and then everything that you can do on this control panel, you'll be able to operate from your phone or tablet. And then below that is just cleaning mode. If you hit this, it's going to give you about 15 seconds to wipe your screen without pushing buttons. All right, as you can see, it's counting down from 15 seconds now. All right, now directly below your Vega Touch control, you do have your Victron energy control. So this is everything about your chargers and inverters. So if you look right here on this kind of home page, it gives you information pertaining to the percentage of charge left on your batteries. It tells you that you are bulk charging or whatever type of charging you might be. It could be absorption or float. Status is how much time you have left on your battery system at its accurate percentage. And then you're getting your inputs, your outputs, and wattages, as well as your DC wattage. As you scroll over on here, you have a generator page. So it gives you the status, tell you it's not running. You can do a test run if you would have programmed it, or you can do a manual start on your generator here as well. So there again, one of those redundancies. You essentially have 4 different ways to start your generator in this coach. Scrolling over again, another breakdown, kind of a larger view here. And then at the very bottom, you can see your AC current limit, which you can adjust. So if you were only plugged into a 30 amp, you could let the system know that. However you'd want to do that. And then next to it, you have AC mode. So in AC mode, if it just says on, that's saying that your inverter and your chargers are on. If you click through this, you can go charger only, you can go inverter only, you can go to off, or back to the on position. Now, if I tap on the screen here at the very bottom, it pops up with pages, which is what this screen is, or menu. When you come into menu, you're going to get all the information pertaining to your battery bays, your multi-plus, your smart shunts, and then everything about that. So if this is battery bay, you're getting everything on the status, the temperature, the humidities, the pressure sensors for the batteries, all those sort of things. The multi-plus, so your charger, when you come into here, it tells you that it's on, your bulk charging, your input current limit, all those sort of things pertaining to the charger. Your smart shunt, there again, all of your information. And then you can do individual notifications if you had any, and then individual settings here as well. So that's just general settings, firmware, that sort of thing. It should all be pre-programmed for you. While we're on this wall here as well, I do like to point out that directly below your Victron Energy, this little black guy right here is considered, it's called a thermistor. So that's essentially telling this zone's temperature back to your Vega Touch climate page. You're also going to see a lower sensor down here as well. So it's going to give you temperature low and high, and then it will equalize between the two. And then your CO2/propane detector is up here. All right, so we are up in the cockpit area of your RV, and we're going to go over your center control here. So right now we are on the audio input. If you see, you can choose between FM, AM, what source you'd like between Bluetooth, USB, regular radio, XM, those sort of things. You also have audio settings in your EQ settings page. So there again, you also have the on-off button down here. You can adjust your volume up and down here as well as the mute feature. Also being able to pick what style of music you're listening to. As we scroll back over to the left, we're going to go to your climate page. All right, this climate page is only going to allow you to run if you're in accessory mode. I have the engine off right now. But essentially, that will allow you not only to run climate for this location, but for the house as well. Shades. So this is only going to be shade control for the cockpit area. Now you can see it is kind of listed by zone. If you wanted to control, say you just wanted to control your door shade, and you want it to be the day shade, and you can hit the down button. That will bring just your door shade down. Hit the button at any point in time to stop it at your desired location, or hit the opposite direction to close it. If you wanted all shades to work, highlight all of them, hit the down button, and that will activate all shades. Here again, stop at any location, send back up. That works not only for your day shades as well as your night shades. Continuing down the list, we have controls. So you can see on the left-hand side, you have mirrors, tilt, telescoping, that's pertaining to your steering wheel, and then your pedal controls. You can also create memories for these controls as well. So memory control just for mirrors. So if you had two different people that would be driving, creating those memories. And then you can also turn on your auto defrost for that upper mirror as well. Below that is your GPS. All right. So you can make this bigger, fill the screen. You'll also be able to send that over to your main screen behind the steering wheel. You come over to the left-hand side, you have your leveling. All right, so travel mode is going to be for bringing you to ride height, and then you have manual mode, which is going to allow you to manually level the coach via air, and then auto, which is just going to auto level, and then your manual jack control. So you come in here, it will do automatically auto, and then if you wanted to manually do your jack control, you do that from the jacks page. Next one up is phone. So if you had connected your phone via Bluetooth, you could do hands-free calling from the phone page. Next one is lights. So you can control all of your dome lights for the cockpit area, your docking lights, which are on both the driver and passenger side of the coach. You also have light masters for interior and exterior, controls for your badge lighting, which is the front of the coach, as well as your accent lighting outside as well. And you can also create a time frame for when you want the off automatically to turn off your accent and badge lighting. Under that is your utilities page. So you can adjust your house temperature. You can lock and unlock both your entry and cargo doors. You can manually turn on your generator. You can enable your AGS, which is your auto gen start. And then you could retract or extend your step slide cover. And retract. Alright, now the last one here is your settings page. Now your settings page, it does have a capture on here for product information pertaining to Entegra. You have your TV out, so directly above this console you have your front TV, and you can scroll through it to say I want navigation up there, I want my cameras up there, or I just want regular TV. You can come into Bluetooth settings or connection for Bluetooth. Plethora of settings for this system here as well. And then brightness control. You can also do a reset. That's going to reset your full GPS system and everything within the coach. Now as far as cameras here, if you tap on the camera screen, you can scroll between the view that you had, the 360 side view, rear camera, front camera, turn signal for the driver's side, rear driver's side, turn signal for the passenger side, rear passenger side. You can also do a full screen that would be 360, as well as a rear zoom here as well. And then if you like the lane guides on for when you're in reverse, you can choose to activate that. Now directly below this screen, you do have your traditional HVAC controls, so fan speed, temperature, location. You also have your max AC and circulate button on there as well. Now let's look over here on the driver's side. So on this driver's side right here, you do have a whole bunch of buttons. So first button we have right here is your column tilt. So in addition to being able to control it electrically here, you do have a switch, so being able to control how your tilt is. Next to that is your tag dump. So I generally keep that forward in the auto position. Middle is off, rear is manual, so if you held it to the rear, that would manually tag dump. I like to keep it in auto because that just means that essentially when you're going in reverse, it's going to dump automatically, and when you're making tight radius turns, it's going to dump as well, allowing you to make that tight radius turn. Next to that is your window control, so opening and closing of your toll window. Next to that is your column control for telescoping, so whether or not you want to come up or down. Next to that, or up above that, is your manual switch for generator start and stop. Next to that is your battery boost. So hypothetically, say that your chassis battery has gotten a little low. You can hit the battery boost button, and that will allow you to rob some energy from the house to allow you to start the chassis battery. Next to that is your dome light. That's essentially a map light that will just help the driver see as you're driving down the road. Now, as we come up here to the front, you do have your Allison transmission. All right. On the left-hand side, you have your gear position, so reverse, neutral, drive. You're never going to go from reverse to drive or drive to reverse without stopping at neutral first. Mode is going to put you in eco mode. Essentially, if you're having engine or transmission related issues and you're trying to get to a safe location and it's wanting to put you in limp mode, you can go into eco mode and get you to a safe location. And then you have the up and down arrows here for manually changing gears. You can also use these by pushing these simultaneously to scroll through information pertaining to your transmission. So trans health, oil levels, that sort of thing. You just continually push it and it'll display right here on the screen. All right. If we look over here on the side, you do have a 12-volt receptacle as well as a USB right here. This USB is for charging, as well as the USB here on the top. And then a couple little switches. You have your auto headlight switch, you have your manual headlight switch, and then the far right is your fog light switch. All right. Now let's talk about some stuff on the steering wheel here. So left side of the steering wheel is everything pertaining to your cruise control. So turning it off or on, your set and resets, and cruise cancel. All right. Left-hand side is stuff pertaining to your windshield wipers, so high and low, windshield wash, and then auto and off on this side. You also have a horn button here as well. Now on the top of both of these consoles, left and right, you have these two headlight and marker light features. So we refer to these as your ICC buttons. That's the Interstate Commerce Commission. They're the ones that designated rules of the road. So we've all seen it before. You're trying to get in a lane, a semi-truck flashes you and allows you to come in, and then you could hit your marker lights to thank him. So just remember, headlights, marker lights. So essentially front of the coach, back of the coach. And then the very middle bezel, you have information pertaining to your screen views, how to scroll through different sources, forward and backward on your radio stations, that sort of thing. Now on the side of the console on this side, you do have your hands-free phone for answering and hanging up the phone. You also have your engine brake on and off, and at what level. So if you pull this towards you and brake, engine brake on or off, and then pushing it away from you will change the level from high, medium to low. And then as we come on the right side of this bezel over here, you have volume up and volume down on this control here, as well as mute and off for the radio on the bottom. Alright guys, so we're right here in your doorway, and I just wanted to go over a couple last controls before we exit the coach and do the exterior. So right here on the panel here, you do have a step cover control. We kind of showed you that earlier as well. You also have your base KIB. This is the first KIB that you come in contact with as you come in the coach, so you can do your interior lights from there. You can also do some of your exterior lights, like your porch light, your under slide out lights, that sort of thing. You also have the ability to turn on your passenger and driver side security lights, as well as control all of your side awnings from this location as well. In addition to that, you do have your step light control, which kind of illuminates your badging right here on your steps. and your step power control. So if you don't want your steps to go in and out every time you open the door, you can turn that off right here as well. And the very last thing in here is your 12-volt disconnect. So that's going to be for your house-related power on the 12-volt side of things. And that's just got a singular little button right here. Guys, very first compartment on the passenger side houses your Camco refrigerator / freezer. It does have the little locks here on the bottom so you can slide it out. All the controls are right here on the left-hand side. It gives you the ability to, turn it on. And if you want this to all be refrigerator, it can be. If you want it to all be freezer, it can be. Or if you want one side to be fridge and the other side freezer, you can do that as well. Really cool thing to see in here also is you're going to see the 12-volt plug on the back side, which gives you consistent power to your cooler the whole time. There is a switch in this compartment, or a little remote in this compartment as well, which is your awning remotes. And just to give you a visual on this, it is going to be double zeros, which is going to be all of your awnings. 1 would be your front awning. 2 would be your rear awning. Next compartment, just the pass-through. Does have the switch on the door for bringing your Versa slide in and out. Inside this compartment, you're also going to see spare tile, just in case. Next compartment here, you have your second Versa slide. And you are going to see your additional fold-out chairs for your dinette in here as well. All right, so right here you are going to see your macerator pump hose. Nice, its own little private housing for it. All right, welcome to your wet bay. So I'm going to move some stuff just so we can get a better visual here. And we're going to start from the right-hand side and work our way left. You are going to see that you do have your own city water hose here. It is on a reel. So if you pull this out, you can hit the retract button. It will automatically retract for you. Next to that are your black and gray tank flushes. So connecting right here and using the valve above to dictate whether or not you're flushing the gray or the black tank. Right here you do have an inline PEX pipe. This is used for a water filter that goes directly to your refrigerator. As we work our way over, we do have the valve for your freshwater tank fill or city water hookup. So if you're connected to city water, make sure you're in this vertical position. If you want to manually fill your fresh tank, you're going to switch it that way. All right, so you do also have your macerator on-off switch. That's going to be used in conjunction with the macerator hose. You have your gray tank and your black tank. These are electric valves. So you're going to see close on the bottom side and open if you push these buttons open. And it'll open your gray and black tanks or valves. Next to that is your sea level. This is your outdoor tank monitor. All right, so you can hit battery, fresh, gray, and black. Now, one thing to notice on these as well is that it'll only stay on for about 5 to 10 seconds. So if you are actively dumping your black tank, come to black, hit it, and then hit it again, it's going to put the little period after the percentage. That will keep this display on so you can watch it drain empty. Over here, you do have your house water filter. You do have your front spray port controls, as well as your outside controls here. Now, as we look on the inside here, we've got a handful of stuff you can see. All right, one, you do have your winterization valve. All right, so you have the ability to winterize this coach just by utilizing this valve right here. If I had it in the forward position like that, that's going to allow you to draw from the fresh tank. Otherwise, it's in that position. You'd have a 5-gallon bucket out of here of antifreeze, and that's how you can winterize the coach. If you look over here, you'll also have your low point drains. So the blue pipe being your cold water low point, and the red pipe being your hot water low points. Now, when you guys dump this tank, you do have to make a decision as to how you are going to dump it, whether or not you're going to use it traditional septic hose or you're going to use the macerator pump. In either case, you have to pull a valve. So this big valve here in the front is connected to this downspout that comes out underneath the wet bay. You would connect your traditional septic hose to it, pull that valve open and then use your electric valves to open your gray and black tanks. If you're going to use the macerator pump, directly behind this valve is a gray valve. You would keep this one closed, open that one. Once you have this in your downspout for your septic drain, have that one open, then hit your gray and black tank valves. Inside this bay here is where your aqua is located. Now there's not a whole lot for you to do on that. I do like to point it out to you. And then notice I mentioned earlier that you have another diagnostic panel in this bay, exactly the same as the one that you get on your Vega Touch. Next to that is your onboard transfer switch and surge protector. Just know that just because you have an onboard surge protector does not negate the need for having an external surge protector as well. And then you have your power cord reel. Now this power cord reel is electric as well. Hit the little button right here and it'll retract for you. All right, we're gonna go up to the front here. Okay, so that's prep for, is it on? All right, so in this compartment here, I do like to just point out you have a couple more low point drains. These are going to pertain to your water softener if you do add one. So this is a water softener prep location. So water softener in, water softener out, and then the low points for it. And last compartment. All right. I like to refer to this compartment as your front chassis electrical management location. You do have this little pull tab here at the bottom, which will allow you to expose an area where everything from mid-coach forward, so headlights, anything that was controlled from the cockpit area, will all have fuses and relays and that sort of thing in this compartment. You also have an additional EQ systems, your hydraulic leveling system, so you can level from outside the coach. You have a light switch in here to turn the light off or on, and then you have your Gen Slide Extend button. So this button, your coach has to be in accessory position or at least started, and then that will allow you to send the generator in or out.